My theme song never gets old to me. I love it. Absolutely love it. Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Supposed to be in the studio today, but as we've learned, COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it, Omicron, Delta, I don't care. It ruins absolutely everything. So we are in. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Um, Bringing back an all-time guest, probably holds the record for most episodes on Let Freedom Ring. My brother, Bobby Beaulieu. Welcome back.
And I'm back. Yes, I think it's what 5 or 6. It hasn't been since May or June.
Yeah, it's
But
been
some of the rest of us are good.
been a little while,
Mhm.
but again, we're live. I just want to address one thing. Yeah, I'm not worried too much about security today. Soapy pre-op, uh, you can't do anything when we're live. As you can see, the things that he has done to the show. This is far from over. I know he's been on Twitter making a lot of different threats. I'm not sure how we're going to handle this. It's going to have to be handled eventually. I don't know
Yeah,
if he has the guts to come back to the studio. Definitely has to have the guts to come to my house right now. I know that.
true. That's a fact.
So if Soapy, if you're watching, which I know that you hang on everything, just know not concerned about you. But let's get to it. Bobby, how you been since your last episode?
Been pretty good. Not much going on. I guess
Non-alcoholic Heineken, by the way.
Oh,
Just
nice, nice. Yeah. Not too much. I mean, you're just working every day and still working from home. Life's been about the same.
yeah. Well, big thing that happened since the last time you were on the show, you got married.
This is true. I got married this September. So yeah, I guess that happened. That was a good time.
Uh,
You
you're
know,
you're now a married man. I know you're expecting a lot of people to call you Mr. Bullier now. Not gonna. That's not gonna happen.
some people do. I mean, it's one. I look like I'm very young, so it's very hard for people to even realize how old I am. So I get a lot of head nods or eye stares when I'm like, oh, I'm 33 years old. So
Understandable. Any changes being married? Anything different?
joint
Same old.
checking, I guess.
Oh, okay.
That's different. Tax filing is more different.
Really?
Yeah, we
Oh,
file
because
as
now you're
joints.
like one person.
Yeah, it's just you get a bigger tax credit if you file jointly. Some people will tell you that yeah, you might be able to file single-handedly or whatever, single, and then make money that way or whatever. But for the most part, what I read, it's filing joint is the best way to go. So
Very cool. Now you also had a honeymoon. Where did you guys go for that?
yeah, we did the rim to rim trail on the Grand Canyon. So we
Rim to rim trail, eh?
yeah down in Arizona. So yeah, I know,
It's
right?
just I can't
It's
help
literally,
it.
there's shirts everywhere that say rim to rim. It's a
Oh
nice
my
rim job.
god. Yeah.
Uh, so basically, you take a bus from the south rim to the north rim, which is like 5 hours, and then we hiked straight across the Grand Canyon, um, 110 degrees, which was fun. It's beautiful. It's just really hot. It's a different world down there. And then we spent a couple days in Vegas. So saw
Awesome.
the
Awesome.
Beatles Cirque du Soleil.
Oh really?
John
How was?
Lennon. It was good. John Lennon would overturn in his grave. He would hate everything that they've done to him. He was like the star moment at the end where they use him as his voiceover. It's like John Lennon would hate commercialism and all that stuff. So they missed the point on who John Lennon was. But oh, that was great.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, no, I'm glad that went well. Very exciting time for you.
Hmm.
Um, let's get into some current events here.
Yeah.
We haven't really done a lot of current events on the show more recently, but I want to talk about this first one where Mitch McConnell, leader of the GOP, Mitch really saying some very. I don't know what he meant by this. So Mitch basically talked about voters turnouts. He said that African American voters are voting just at the same percent as American voters. Mitch, explain yourself what you mean by that. Any
Only an
take on
American
that?
can vote. Yeah, it makes no sense. Only Americans can vote. So if you're doing it based off the American population, they would be included in that statistic. So he's just an idiot. It all has to go to do with that Freedom to Vote Act that was out there that basically is not going to pass at this point to try to prevent gerrymandering or whatever it is for how the votes in states are going and you know voting by ballot and how long they can stay open and all those polls. Uh, it's something that's been happening for many years. It's just funny that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just trying to deflect whatever the question is. Um,
Yeah, we do have a comment from Facebook. We are a family show. We'll allow this. John Masson saying Mitch is a P word. We don't want to get too much into that. I mean, no matter what he was talking about, it kind of gives you a feel of how he feels about African Americans.
this is true. I mean, I did just visit the state in which he represents, and I could see why they're acting that way. He's just terrible. And at this point, he's going to be in office till he's dead. He's what, in his upper 70s or 80s. I don't even know how old he is, but
I don't know.
he ain't going anywhere. And
He really is just a piece of shit.
it's gonna be
He
weird
just he
though
just
because
is.
he could be the majority party in November going into next year. So right now he's the minority leader, and by the end of the year he could be the majority. So it's gonna be interesting of a year. He's gonna keep saying stupid things, but with the seats that are up for grabs, he might grab power back anyway. So we're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
just
here from
crazy.
him more.
It's crazy that we have all these old, like even Joe Biden in his whatever, what is Joe in his mid 70s at this point.
Yeah,
Mitch is the leader of the Republicans. He's old, but not just that. Making comments like that tells you exactly how he feels about Black Americans.
right.
He doesn't feel that they're obviously not, to him, not Americans. I couldn't believe that he would say something like that, and that clip's gonna go wild. Like I this guy's a scumbag, and he's been
Yeah,
around for so long. It's just disgusting, and his comments were disgusting too. So
yeah. And I mean, he said worse things. So it's just right along with it that that's who Mitch is. He's kind of a garbage person. I think if we look at this, did Gen X fail us? You know, the boomers aren't going away. They're in the power positions. This should have been Gen X's time to start rising, and the Gen X is just not carrying their load. Now we're going to have to wait for the millennials to come take over. But I think it's a sign of the Gen Xers are just failed. The failedest, maybe the most failed.
yeah, I mean, regardless, we got to get younger in politics. These guys, this is just getting ridiculous, and
Yeah,
and,
which
and let's get
means Gen X is going to get skipped again.
and let's get the racist scum out of here, like Mitch McConnell. Honestly,
Hmm.
um, WWE's also having some weird stuff going on with them. They renamed him Gunter Stark recently. I believe that was a Nazi. Gunter Stark. Gunter
Yeah, he
Stark.
was a U-boat captain or something like that.
Yeah, WWE couldn't do a Google search before deciding on now they've already got rid of the trademark.
Yeah.
A simple Google search could have gotten them this information.
Yes, you
Uh,
would think.
who's dropping the ball here? Is it?
Creative, right? I mean, and this doesn't just go for WWE. It goes for anyone who's in marketing or advertisement. Before you post anything, before you do anything, make sure there's no ties to the Nazis. If there's ties to the Nazis, avoid it at all costs. Just it's a simple thing. Fanta, right? A couple years ago, Fanta was doing this campaign to talk about how it was invented, how these guys created this soda because they couldn't get certain goods, not realizing the reason that they couldn't get those certain goods is because they were in Germany and couldn't get sugar and things like that because of the embargoes from other countries because of Nazi Germany. So like just any nostalgia things like that, just stay away from it. Volkswagen does not celebrate the awards they got in the 40s. They celebrate the awards they got today. So just avoid that stuff and just do your research before you do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if that's Bruce Pritchard. I don't know if that's Vince McMahon. I don't know who it is, but I mean, you are a billion-dollar company. You definitely could do your research before putting that name on television. They've gone back on the trademark. Hopefully, they just allow him to be Walter. I don't understand why that necessarily needed a name change, but to name him after a Nazi is, yeah. I don't know what you're thinking there.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure they own the trademark for Walter anyways. I don't I don't really know the point of changing his name at this point. Maybe because he's been there for so long and hasn't really gotten over. I mean, he's over in the fact that he's a realistic wrestler and he's a strong type wrestler, but he's still spent most of his time in WWE UK, so he hasn't really hit it with the non-hardcore fans in the United States. So maybe they're like, we'll change it a little bit because they're not buying this Walter thing.
They get so hooked on names, like Braun Breaker couldn't just be a Steiner. Like I don't know the whole. Maybe they couldn't trademark Walter. Was that already his name before he ever did anything with WWE?
It was, but I'm pretty sure WWE had already done that for him already at this point when they brought him
Yeah.
over. But again, he's been in the WWE UK for so long, and like he had his moments here and there. I just don't think he has gotten over with the larger audience, like the people like me and you who watch regularly, or your nerds or wrestling people in that chat. They all know who he is. The average Joe wrestler has no clue who Walter is, and the fact that he's like one of those strong type wrestlers who's realistic. He's over the top. Like he's over when it comes to the fans, but he's not over with the people he needs to get over with to be successful in WWE.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that matters on a name, but again, simple Google search could have saved them a lot of headaches. And yeah, WWE. That's typical WWE for you. Some celebrity news. This one got me, and I guess nobody else cared about this in any of the group chats that I exist in. But Venus Williams, she, I know this is not. I'm not trying to be controversial, but I was shocked. She's still a virgin. She has doubled what Tim Tebow ever did in his life.
Yeah, yeah, it's personal
I,
choice.
I get it's a personal
It's
choice,
just
but I just couldn't believe it. Am I just I don't know, too over the
it,
top with this? This
yeah,
doesn't shock anybody else that Venus Williams is a virgin?
not really. I mean, maybe from a bygone era or something. It's like it's personal choice. If she didn't want to do that, then she didn't have to do it. I mean, I don't even know why it got brought up. I didn't see the article
She
or
did
what.
an interview
Yeah,
basically saying like I never found someone I fell in love with, so
I mean,
essentially what
Queen.
happened.
Which queen was it? Queen Elizabeth, right? Back in the 1500s, she was a virgin her entire life, and she has a role of trying to put an heir into this world, and she didn't even attempt to try it. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for someone to do this. Personal choice, I guess.
No, I just didn't think I don't know.
I've never
Sometimes
thought
she's
of
she's
Serena,
40
not
she's
Serena,
41 years old.
Venus Williams. Yeah,
So it's like I don't know.
and one of the
I,
greatest tennis players of all time.
yeah, I mean, seriously, she is doubled Tim Tebow on the
Hmm.
record there for sports figures that are virgins. So I guess big ups to Venus Williams for that. I don't,
Yeah, no, good
not
for
something
her.
you would expect. I don't know. Shocking. Um, let's get to some of the fan questions here. Rich Birkland wants to know what was it like growing up with Dan, and I guess here's an actual visual of, I guess, what it's like growing up, just getting choked out. I don't know. And man, my
Yes,
teeth were in rough shape back then. But yeah, he wants to know what was it like growing up with me. Growing up with me.
interesting, right? Yeah, I mean, we're 4 years apart, so it wasn't like we were spending the same time in the same friend groups. But you were the wild child. You beat up one of the kids we hung out with off a bike. You'd stick up for us. So I mean, you're basically the same person. Like I don't think there's been much of a change. So like if you know Dan today, then you know what it would probably be like to grow up with Dan because that's who you are. You haven't really changed that much in that perspective over the
You
years.
get what you get.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
straightforward, straight shooter.
got some other. This is from back in National Wrestling days. We got Steve Welper here, Chris Loria, Sean
Scott Nightingale.
Lavoy, Scott Nightingale. Look how young he was. I don't know who this kid is with the tie. This was Nick Hindy. I don't know who that kid was. Like, was he on the team for like a hot second?
Yeah, it's not even the
I,
whole team. I don't.
no, that I don't even know how this picture was taken.
Oh,
This
sorry,
was a.
Debster.
I
Like
think
I don't know.
this was awards night. Obviously, you're with the glasses. I was wearing glasses back then
Isn't
when
that
I
the
was
guy who
around.
tried to beat you up behind you?
Hindy tried. Yeah, he sucker punched me in the high school parking lot and then ran away. True story. But yeah, yeah, we were young then. I think that. Oh yeah, I was a senior that year.
That
But
was my freshman year. Yeah.
yeah, I'm hitting almost 20 years since I graduated from high school next year,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like absolutely insane. I remember when it
Not
was
too far
10 years.
behind.
I was like, whoa! And now another 10 years have gone by. Like time flies.
Time flies. I mean, even looking back at high school, like I talked to the same five people I hung out with in high school, and that's it. We all catch up on Facebook, right? From here time to there, and you see everyone from time to time. But it's crazy. Time flies.
Time definitely flies. Now, Jesse DeLeo wants to know: can you please enlighten us why you always wear 55?
I wear 36, not 55.
I don't know if that had to do with the shirt you were wearing, like in the picture. Was that like because did Kenny Powers wore 55, right?
He did, but I don't wear 55.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Jesse, you will have to follow up with us. I'm not sure what that was a reference to.
I wear 36 all the time, and it's in honor of Lawyer Malloy, who was my favorite player growing up before he was traded to the Bills. Well, basically cut and then moved
No,
to the
he was
Bills.
cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I
So I mean,
forgot.
I still loved him.
Yeah.
I've been trying to buy a replica 2001 Lawyer Malloy jersey, but not like the recreated ones, like a specific Adidas one from 2001. I bought the patch to go on the jersey. I just haven't been able to find a Lawyer Malloy jersey with the right stuff.
Yeah, he was cut right, and this is all coming back to me after watching Man in the Arena. He gets
Yeah,
cut and he signs with the Bills, and then they slaughter us. What 38-0 the first game of the
41 to
season?
3.
No, they shut us out the first game of the season because then we
Is it
we
really?
replicated the same score in the last game of the season. I think
Yeah,
it was
that was 41
38
3
zip.
each, but no, it was more than that. You might have
It
to
was
pull it
this.
up. It was more than
I
38 points. I know that.
if anybody knows that statistic there, not statistic, that's that trivia question there. I believe the 2003 season, the Bills beat us 38 zip. To end the season, we beat them 38 to zip. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Hmm.
But if anybody watching knows that, I'm pretty positive, especially because I just watched the Tom Brady
Yeah, I've been watching them too.
documentary.
Yeah, I think it was 41 points though, 42.
No,
So
I don't. I think it was just 38 zip, and then we did the same to them to end the season. Both did it on our home turf.
yeah, well, the Bills just scored a touchdown every single drive they had on us. So yeah, so now you just
Well,
gotta tip your cap and say the Bills are your daddy.
yeah. Well, they haven't been for 20 years, so every squirrel gets a nut once in a while. That's for sure.
They are 3-4 against us, or what 4-1 or whatever against us for the last 2 years.
Two, yeah, four, yeah.
So
Which whatever. That's again, it's their division now for now.
I wouldn't even say
Uh,
that. I mean that their division. What does that
well,
even mean,
I don't
right?
want to spend too much time on this because we're gonna get to sports. So
Yeah,
let's John Nagle. And here's a little. We got a picture here back from when we all went to Florida together. Um,
yeah, with the
what?
OG tie pipe shirt.
Yeah, that is one of the original ones. Kyle Gagnon, have not seen him in years. He just kind of
Hmm.
fell off the face of the earth. Well, he moved, but
Yeah.
John wants to know what's it like to be a three-time men's state champion.
Well, technically, I'm only a two-time. I was not. I did not participate in the third state championship. I was at
Doesn't
Mike's
count being
wedding.
rostered.
No, I don't count it. I did not touch that trophy. I didn't even saw the trophy, so I don't really count it as a three-time. It is crazy because like that team has obviously we're going to D's this year and it's grown so much, but it's basically just been Stevie, and then he runs those teams, and it was technically only really back to back, and it wasn't even really back to back for 603, because we were a different team the year before, but you win some, you lose some. I don't lose very often, I guess.
I guess winning in the state though, when it's four, what is it, four teams, five teams, sometimes two
The
teams, three
first the
teams.
first year we played the Thunder Buddies in the finals, and there was 5 teams. Um, that was a good one. But we rolled right through that tournament. I think the Thunder Buddies though got their bid through that. The second time we were 603 elite, and some main team came down here, and they were stacked, and they were pretty good. I don't even know how to explain them. They were those Tim Dutton people, whatever. I forget Tim Dutton's. There was a mixed team, and they pushed us to an if game, and we beat them. And then this year, again, I think who do we beat? Miggyville or something like that, which is a young startup team. Hopefully they come back because they had a lot of young kids that were just going from baseball field to the softball field, and if they're back, they have a chance to do very well in East if they're fully together. Um, but we'll see because right now there's only 3 teams listed in the New Hampshire East.
Yeah, still plenty of time to sign up for that.
Hmm.
All right, let's get into sports here. We do now have the road to the Super Bowl. We're going in the divisional round. We got the Bengals Titans, we got the Bills Chiefs, we got the 49ers at Green Bay,
Hmm.
LA at the Bucks. I threw this out to Facebook over the week. Uh, you got Tyson Forsythe said that Buffalo versus Tampa would be fun. Brady reminding Buffalo that he still owns them.
The Bills
Jesse,
are the Bills would be a nightmare for Tampa Bay if that happens.
I think the Bills are very good right now. Jesse DeLay going with the Titans, San Fran, LA, and the Bills. Jonathan Meekins going with the Bengals, Bills, Packers, Rams. Scott McVicker, Bengals, Bills, Packers, Rams. You we'll talk about in a second. Victoria Hawk said Houday, Bills, Packers, and Tampa Bay.
Mhm.
Uh, Matt Parameter Senior, Bengals, Bills, Niners, Rams, and Remedy Softball, who's a very special case, very special guy.
He's what you would call a sports hater.
He said the Patriots, which I don't know if Jim has not been paying attention
He's being
or
facetious, but he's one of those guys. If you told me he was a Lakers, Yankees, Duke fan, Bama
he is
fan,
a
I
Duke
wouldn't be
fan.
surprised.
He is. I
Um,
believe he has a Duke tattoo.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's also a closet Lakers fan and Yankees fan. He's one of those guys who gets off on when other teams lose. I'm not gonna lie, that is a sign of a sports fan loser mentality. Celebrating when other teams lose. I understand when Yankees fans do it to Red Sox fans. That's a rivalry. That's one thing or another. Uh, the Patriots are not a rival to any sports team he really cheers for. Like the New York Football Giants are not a rival of the Patriots.
Oh, he doesn't even talk about the Giants. Like
Yep.
you don't see one post, not one post about his team ever. It's just going on about all the other teams. And you know what? I'll be honest, I've been trolling on the Cowboys hard, and I honestly could have cared less. But if you're friends with Lori Poulin on Facebook,
Yep.
all she does is troll about the Patriots. So you had to come back on her.
That's
Hope
the
what
mark of
you
a
know,
soft fan. Um, you
you
got to
know.
point out things about other teams when your own house is now the current longest losing streak in the playoffs at 11 straight losses. Um, I don't know why you would attack any team that was dominant over 20 years and is rebuilding, and honestly had no right being in the playoffs. Um, to a team that I got suckered and bet money on the Cowboys to win it because back on week 9 they were the hot team that looked like they might make a run, and then they ran the ball out on themselves. So I don't know what you got to do with the Cowboys. They are just I made money anyways because I took the San Francisco 49ers plus 3.5. But I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. They're never going to do well, and they should blow it up. They will not win another championship, and I can guarantee this: as long as Jerry Jones is alive, they will
And I
never win another
said, and
title.
I have said that to Cowboys fans. They go, "It's not Jerry's fault.
It's Jerry's
It's
fault.
not Jerry's fault." It is. Jerry's become what Al Davis was a great owner until he became senile, and you're seeing the same thing with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
The fan base in Dallas is absolutely delusional, and I've said it
Yep.
all year long. They are absolutely delusional, and to be like they were the only higher seed that lost in round one.
They're the only home team that lost.
Yeah, well, you have to be the higher seed to have the home
Yeah, I
field
know, but I'm
advantage.
just saying you might as well say home field advantage. Like they had home field advantage. They were the fourth seed.
Every other higher seed was able to get the job done, and most of
It
them were
was a cool
blowout
pick to pick, mate,
games.
though. I mean, all the talking heads were talking this week going to that game that the 49ers were going to go into Dallas and beat them. That was what they were hammering all week. That's what everyone was saying. And the Dallas Cowboys fans were saying, we're going to shock the world, right? The whole world's betting against us. Well, the whole world was right. The Dallas Cowboys are a mess franchise who need to find a coach that's not just going to go from the Packers over there when he was chased out of Green Bay. He was never going to work down there. They
Doesn't win
need to
anything
blow it
without
up,
Aaron
and they're going to
Rodgers.
lose both their offense. They're going to lose coordinators this offseason.
That's not the only thing with Dallas. You built that stadium, didn't realize where the sun falls in
Yeah,
to the
another way.
point like people can't like your team can't see the ball.
Well, that's a that's the
Do
funny
you
thing.
put in a stadium where the ball hits the roof?
Have you seen? Yeah, that too. But have you
Like
seen that area? I've been there, and it's the Rangers had to build a new stadium because their stadium was facing the wrong freaking direction. So it's not outside the norm of what Dallas does. Well, they're technically in Arlington. They're not even Dallas, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you didn't think about that,
I,
or at
Jerry's an
least put
idiot.
blinds down.
Something like, but not only that, the way that game ended, like Dak Prescott, what are you thinking? Like
That's what
what
he was told to do.
I couldn't believe he was doing that. So regardless of what the Cowboys do, I will say to their fan base, like, guys, don't say it's your, you haven't won a Super Bowl since the mid 90s. People that are like 25 years old that are Cowboys fans have never seen them win.
Yeah, they
Okay.
haven't even got to an NFC title game.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, just wait till it's your year. Wait till you're almost there. Don't be saying that mid season because you're just cursing yourself. It's just, it,
And I
I
think
don't know what to say.
they're in an issue anyways because Ezekiel Elliott, he's a good running back, but he's already got the miles on him. He's not going to get you to the Super Bowl. I don't know what they do to fix it. Micah Parson is that hot pick that everyone's been talking about, like saying Patriots should have picked him over Mac Jones. A defensive tackle is not going to win you a Super Bowl either. So like they need to figure out what the hell's going on down there and just maybe it's coordinator changes. I don't know. I don't see anything happening until Jerry Jones is dead. No offense to
Yeah,
him.
they ain't and I believe he's the GM too. Like, the
Yeah,
guy
he is.
sucks. Okay, he sucks. It's
Yeah,
it's time. All right, let's get to predictions that we have here. First up, you got Bengals at the Titans. Who are you going with?
the Titans. The Bengals are the cool pick to make this week. I will say I was just in Cincinnati for their game and they're loving it. They're coming off that. You barely squeak by the Raiders. I don't think you're going to go into Tennessee. Derrick Henry back. Um, Julio
Is it the
Jones is
same
healthy.
Derrick Henry though? I highly doubt
Honestly, he's probably way better than he would be if he had played a full season. Because if you go back and look at his injury, it's not an injury that's like his in his knees or things like that. He's 100% healthy and ready to go. So this could be the scariest Derrick Henry you get in the playoffs because he hasn't been hit a million times this year. You got AJ Brown, you got Julio Jones are healthy. Tannehill can get you there. He's not a top tier quarterback, but he's a good quarterback. I think the Bengals. It's a great story. They ended their drought. I don't think they go into Tennessee and win. This is their best chance. They would not have beaten Buffalo or Kansas City, so this is their best chance. But
Well, I'm going to go with the Bengals in an upset here. I think the Titans are a little overrated. I watched the Patriots put a beat down on the Titans this year.
they were
Uh,
missing both their starting wide receivers and Derrick
yeah,
Henry.
and the excuses
Both
are
start
excuses though.
Dan. Both they're
You
starting
know,
AJ Brown and Julio Jones. Both did not play in that game.
that's fine. I don't believe in that team. I picked them to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. Now I'm second guessing that. Also, you want to talk about fans hating on? I got into it with Jake Jocelyn on Facebook the other day. We're not rivals with the Titans. Another hater of the Patriots just for the hell of it. So I'm going Bengals. I'm going Bengals. Uh, Bills Kansas City, I think, is going to be the best game this weekend. Who are you going with there?
Kansas City, and they're right now 2.5 point favorites. I would take them out all the way up to 7. They are going to beat the Bills. The Bills, everyone is living in this moment where they blew out the Patriots. They score a touchdown on every drive. That's not going to happen in Kansas City, and I don't. I think it'd be. It's a cute pick. I think they're going to go back into Kansas City like they did last year and crap themselves, and that the Kansas City wins by at least a touchdown.
I'm going Bills in another road victory that I'm predicting this weekend. I think the Bills may be a team of destiny right now. I'm not saying the Patriots were the best team. They were not. Patriots weren't even close to being the best team in the AFC. I mean, when we were in first place for a minute, we knew it wasn't going to last. Rookie quarterback, all the other things, but the beatdown that they put on the Patriots, it was a playoff team, an NFL game, and they couldn't be stopped. I think they might be a team of destiny right now.
I don't see that. I think the Patriots defense age and exhaustion has
They
finally
didn't
caught
look
up to
that
them.
shitty all year. I mean,
They have over the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, you can take out the outlier of the Jacksonville game. That team is old on defense. If you have the mobility and the speed, you can beat up on that team because they can't hold it for 4 quarters. They're just not at that age anymore. Hightower's probably going to retire. You got some other turnover going over there. Van Noy's a free agent. Like there's a lot of turnover on that defense. What McCourty is 34 or whatever, so he's probably done. It's just that defense got you as far as they could, and the gas ran out.
yeah, I feel like the Bills might just be a team. I really do believe that, but we will see this weekend. Niners at Green Bay. I want to say Niners, but I can't. I really can't.
Yeah, this is again. I think it's the cute pick, but the Green Bay is going to win this game, and I don't think it's going to be close. The San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy G's already got like a questionable mark on him. It's going to be freezing cold up there. They're a warm-blooded team. I don't see them going into Green Bay on a Saturday night, sub-zero temperatures with the wind chill, and beating the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers right now feels like the man of destiny, not just the team of destiny. He is out there saying "f you" to the media and all this other stuff, and he's out there to just win this title.
Yeah, I gotta go Packers. I really do too. I kind of like that Aaron Rodgers is telling giving everybody the finger too, but I don't see the Packers in the Super Bowl, but I do see them winning this game. And then we're gonna have to go L.A. Tampa Bay Bucks. We're gonna talk about Tom Brady in a little bit. Um, who you got there?
Again, I like the home team. I favored the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think the LA Rams again look great when they beat up on the Cardinals, but the Cardinals, if you go over the last 5 games, did not beat anyone. They lost to two non-playoff teams in their last 4 games. I think that Tom Brady beats the LA Raiders at home. No, not the LA Raiders. The LA freaking Rams down
Rams.
in Tampa this
Wherever the
weekend.
hell the Rams play now.
Yeah,
like, yeah, I definitely I definitely gonna have to go with the Bucks there. Though the Rams look really good. Who knows? Maybe Matthew Stafford's like really hungry to light them up. I don't know. I do want to talk about Tom Brady real quick. Um, we potentially there now the media is speculating as the Man in the Arena documentary is starting to come to an end. Tom turns 45 this year, I believe.
yep,
Uh, he's old,
yep,
but he's still winning.
yep.
What do we think? Could Brady retire after the season?
Nope.
If he doesn't retire, does he stay with the Bucks or does he try to jump to the next place to try to win another?
That depends on how they do. I don't think he retires. I more likely he has to restructure his contract if he's staying with the Bucks regardless. I don't think he's retiring. If you watch Man in the Arena, then you know he's not retiring. Like that, just the way he's talking. Like if the fact that his mother survived cancer and he was talking about in episode 8 when they won Super Bowl 51 how much he loved his family, he wished he was spending more time with them. Well, that was 7 years ago when he didn't do it. So he's not going to do it now. He's going to play till he's 45 because that's the number. That's the age he's always said is getting to 45 and playing at 45. He'll play out next year, restructure his contract, and the fact if he stays in Tampa Bay, he'll bring in whatever free agents want to come there because they'll see Tom Brady and be like, "That's a chance to win Super Bowl."
Do you think if he left Tampa Bay, could you see him anywhere else?
That's tough because every other place that needs a quarterback is it's almost a rebuild. Like maybe the Browns, but I doubt the Browns would take him. I don't think the Browns are going to go to that route. There's
Well, he's going to take
nowhere
whatever's the quickest route to the Super Bowl. It,
right, and that would be the
yeah.
Browns. I just don't. I don't think there's any team right there right now that just needs Tom Brady to get over it. Tampa Bay needs Tom Brady. If Tampa Bay loses Tom Brady at the end of this year, they will be irrelevant next year.
I think if the Bucks don't win this year, I don't think they'll win next year. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I will say, Man, the Arena has been excellent from what I've seen. I think I got up to where they beat the Seahawks so far. It is very crazy the career that he's had. I remember everybody said he was done after that blowout loss in 2014 to the Chiefs.
Yep,
Everybody, the whole world was like, this is it. The Patriots are done. And then to make a whole nother dynasty after you already had a dynasty, um, it is freaking amazing what this man's been able to do.
it is. But if you when you keep watching, you'll see it's a big fu to Patriots fans as it goes on because we defended him through everything, and he said how much he loved us and all that stuff. And then when what he did to us on 3/17/2020 was absolute BS. And I know that there's talks about money and contracts and all that other stuff. Your wife is worth $890 million and all that other stuff. It wasn't about money. It was about proving that he could go do it somewhere else. But at the same time, he never apologized to us. He even
I
did that
don't.
commercial before he left where he was saying about how he's not done and he was in Gillette Stadium for Hulu and he was in our stadium. He
I
owes
don't.
every single fan an apology.
I don't think he owes the Patriots fans anything. because
Then
let's just
you'll
put it
see
this
after
way.
the next episode, Dan, because he talks specifically about the fans.
Oh, he's talking shit.
Basically,
All right, Tom. You've already pissed me off once, but I will just say I don't think he owes the Patriot fans anything because if we hadn't won a Super Bowl before he got there, um, he turned. I mean, they had just paid Bledsoe. I mean, honestly, I loved Drew Bledsoe, but was he ever going to win a Super Bowl? Did they win the Super Bowl that first year with Drew? I don't know. So I mean, it's hard to. The guy gave us a very long time here, a very
yes,
long time.
no, I agree.
I think
Yes,
you're in the right to go.
Tom Brady, the football player, is a good football player. But when you listen to his personality and the way he talks about us, did not care about you. Didn't care about any of us. He acted like
Well,
he did. Didn't care.
well, he doesn't need to. I mean,
I mean,
it's a job.
when you start claiming Boston and things like that,
No, he never claimed
and then
Boston. We caught him with a Yankees hat in 2006.
you
You
gotta
don't
watch.
do that if you give a
You
shit about
have
Boston.
you have to watch the next man in the arena. You have to watch Super Bowl 51, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. That's basically about his family and his sisters and the Patriots fans.
No, I will watch. I still Tom Brady has always been my favorite football player. There's just no other way to do it, but to believe that he's fully loyal to this area, just
Again,
crazy to believe that.
you have to watch the episode, Dan. I can't even have this debate with you until you watch that episode. And then after I watched the episode, I was like, this guy.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, honestly, like
He said his football team, the NFL, no one but his family and his fans defended him. And
he
he's
said,
talking about us, the Patriots fans.
he's saying the fans didn't defend him.
No, he's saying we were the only ones who defended him. The team and all this other stuff, the NFL, no one defended him but his family and the Patriots fans. And then he gave us a big FU on St. Patrick's Day.
During COVID, but he was already
A big holiday for Boston.
he already knew he was leaving. That game against the Titans, he knew he's like this team just can't do it, and I'm out.
See, if he was here
And
this year, they win the Super Bowl.
yeah, because they spent money on defense, but
Offense too. I mean, they spent the money on the offense, but
well, in Mac we trust is all we can really do at this point. I was going to talk about the Cowboys choke job here. I guess we couldn't escape talking about that earlier because it was so epically bad.
it was
Um,
egregious.
two other things in sports here. What is the state of the Patriots? I mean, I'm already hearing people saying, what's his name, Chris Coward or whatever, saying, "Oh, they should trade Mac Jones and try to
That's
get
stupid.
Russell Wilson." That's one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard. Um, any take on the future of the Patriots? Do we think is that the sign of things to come? We're going to be that team that gets to the playoffs, and we're just going to be one and out, and that's what the future is going to hold.
No, I think they overachieved this year. To be honest, I do. It will be interesting to see how they do next year. I mean, they played a third place schedule this year, so that helped. Um,
The schedule doesn't
but
look too crazy next year either.
it actually looks better than anything because now the Colts don't even know what they're going to do for a quarterback. Wentz is probably gone. You're going to play them. Who else is the other team in the two seeds? The Steelers again need a new quarterback. You're going to play them next year.
Yeah, they're going to have to draft somebody.
I think they're going to be just in another spot where they will be contending for a playoff spot, wild card, and maybe giving a run at the Bills for the division towards the end of the year. The Dolphins are going to be in a mess. I
I
don't know
can't
what the
believe
heck
they
they're
fired
doing.
their coach. I truly cannot believe that.
Just
Um,
dumb. Just that's a dumb organization. Like, and I don't understand because we go down there and we have so much trouble with the Dolphins, and they just can't get it right. Now they're gonna go through another coach who's gonna go through another type of change and all this other stuff, and the defense is gonna get screwed up. Like, I think we're gonna have some easy wins in our division. We'll pick off some of these teams like the Bears and the Lions who we get next year at home, and be in the playoffs next year again.
when
And
you
Mac
play
Jones
hot,
will get better.
you can't play hot potato with a coach, and you can't play hot potato with a quarterback.
Right.
If I highly recommend people watch Dark Side of Football, the Cleveland Browns, because that is tells you what not to do as a franchise. It's not about, that's why they're always, people are like, well, we should maybe try to get Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson or whatever. No, I'm with let Mac develop.
Yeah.
Don't play hot potato with the goddamn quarterback. And teams like the Dolphins do that. Teams like the Browns do that. When I heard people saying they want to get rid of Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, I go, "Are you serious? This is the first guy to get you to the playoffs in like 20 years and win you a playoff game. And you want to dump this guy? Like, get out of here."
I will say in that one argument, Russell Wilson and Baker Mayfield are interchangeable. You could take Baker out and put Russell Wilson and run the same offense. If you want to go with another quarterback who sat out all year, like Watson, I don't know if you're going to get any better. I wouldn't give up on Baker this year. I would say you go into next year and try to figure out. You have so many good players on that team. That team is so good on paper. They just can't achieve.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I couldn't believe that
But
was even
again,
a
that's
take.
another thing. They played a second place uh, division scheduled this year, and they lost all those games to teams that were second place last year, and then ended up losing the playoffs and stuff like that, or made the playoffs or whatever. So like, who knows? They fell to a third seed. They fell to a third place finish. Actually, fourth place finish. Sorry about that. They were fourth in the division, so they could be right back there next year. They're gonna
No,
play the Jaguars. They're gonna play the Texans.
yeah, no, I wouldn't count the Browns totally out, but like, yeah, you can't just keep, every time you have to restart. It's very rare that a coach comes in year one and goes to the Super Bowl. It happens, but it's rare.
Right.
I just don't think, I don't think, and I don't think quarterback is where you play hot potato. And the Dolphins are just a stupid franchise.
Yes.
You know,
The
haven't meant
the
anything
owner
since Don
chose
Shula.
the owner chose the GM over the coach,
Yeah, and yeah, just very,
and it's
very
gonna bite him in
stupid.
the ass.
Um, Hall of Fame induction announcement. Who's going in? Coming up on Tuesday. Dan Shaughnessy. What a scumbag. Um, doesn't put a vote in for David Ortiz. You're a Boston writer.
Did you see David Ortiz on WEI yesterday?
I haven't heard what David said, so I'm gonna allow you to elaborate. I know he's
He
pretty
uh
pissed.
he said that Dan Shaughnessy is an asshole, and that
Yeah,
that he's gonna vote that way because Dan Shaughnessy is an asshole and only gives a damn about Dan Shaughnessy. I agree with him. Dan Shaughnessy is out of his mind.
I've
I
never
don't
been
know.
a
I don't
fan.
know who reads him or the Boston Globe
Give me Bob
or any of
Ryan
that
any
crap.
day over
Yeah,
him.
just terrible. His takes are garbage. Uh, and if you follow him on Twitter, he just complains about Boston sports all the time. It's like, all right, man, we get it. We're in a rebuilding area right now. We're not like the tops as we were in the 2000s and the mid to 18s or the teens or whatever. But we don't need this negativity out of you, you boomer. Go away. Just
Oh, he's not.
go
Is he even
away.
a boomer? I mean, he might be older than that.
No, he's not in the greatest generation.
No, but I mean, yeah, I guess you can put him there. I mean, to not vote for David Ortiz, like like that should be part of the advantage of being a writer in an area. If you fall, like David Ortiz is a legend here, deserves a statue outside of Fenway Park. He's again, him and Tom Brady are my two favorite athletes of all time. Man, like,
Well, Dan Chauncey's flip
geez.
flopped on this. So he says steroids are being alleged to steroids. By the way, I have 34 behind me. Uh, it was part of it, but I've gone back through Dan Chauncey's ballots and he's voted to people who've been associated to steroids before. So it's not specific. I just don't think he liked David Ortiz, and he's a hater.
It's just absolutely ridiculous to me to pull something like that.
And I
Uh,
mean,
and Dan
Ortiz
Shaughnessy is in the Hall of Fame, not as a player, obviously, as a writer,
as a
but
garbage human being, I get it. Yeah,
he's a
but I mean,
scumbag.
Ortiz will get in. If you go look at the voting right now, you can actually see the tracker because all the ballots are being calculated now. David Ortiz is over 80%. So he needs 75 to get in. More than likely, he's going to drop just below like 73, 74%. So he'll probably get in next year. But the fact that he's going to miss it in his first ballot because he might have been associated with steroids in 2003 is stupid.
So stupid. And I'm tired of this. We're not going to put somebody in, or, well, there's a difference between first ballot and
There's
get
no
out of
difference.
here. If you're a
Stupid.
Hall of
They
Famer, you're
don't
a
even
Hall
put
of
an
Famer.
asterisk next to it. There's nothing on the plaque that tells. If I go through the Hall of Fame right now, I have no freaking clue who was a first ballot Hall of Famer. No idea. A Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer. It has no bearing of when or where.
I'm sick of these jabroni writers ruining everything.
Yeah.
Okay, you've already ruined our childhood. You won't put any of our favorite players in. The coaches who manage them, they get their proper respect.
Yep.
Okay. They knew steroids were going on. The league ignored it because of the strike, and they needed to bring the fans back. So they
Yeah.
let them juice up and hit home runs. And now we don't get to enjoy going to the Hall of Fame and seeing the people we want to see in there. And that sucks.
And I mean, if they don't vote anyone in this year and you have a lockout, like the baseball writers are harming the game more than they're helping the game. And it gets to the point where what's the point? I understand the Baseball Writers Association of America owns the Hall of Fame. They're the reason why that people go in. But is it time to take it over MLB? Like, be like, okay, that's it. We're doing it. We're gonna move that. We're moving the Hall of Fame to where we want to do it, and we're getting the baseball writers out of this.
So a lot of things just ruining baseball. And the strike, this
Can't get out of their own
again,
way.
not going to help. Not putting in people into the Hall of Fame, not going to help. Like, this is America's pastime, and it's just been crapped on and ruined, and they continue to do things to ruin it.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
you know,
31 million people watched two teams in the NFL this weekend that weren't associated to half the country, more than half the country. You're losing your grip on anything. Like you're probably in a number 4 sport at this point. Even hockey is drawing more when it comes over being on NBC and things like that. Baseball, you are
foot,
losing your grip.
football is now
Number
America's
1.
pastime. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. That's what people care about. Even when football dominates the whole year, okay? Even when the season ends, now everybody wants to get ready for the draft. Hell, we're going to see the USA Football League coming back. XFLs, people want these, like, not everybody, mostly crazy people like me want those secondary football leagues, but people
Yep.
want spring football. So you get to the draft. Now it's like we want to get to training camp. We want to get to like it is all year.
Yep.
And no one's talking about baseball right now except for the negative points of it.
Yeah, because there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. So, which just brings us to some amateur sports. We're going in the 2022 softball season. Any early predictions for any of the tournament teams? Any predictions for men's or co-ed D's? D's and E's, really, I would talk about. Any predictions on any of those in the state?
It might be too early to tell. You can see there's a couple. There's 3 E teams registered. There's 3 D teams. There's 1 C team, right? There's what's it called? New England Hitmen are now in C's. It's gonna be interesting. Um, E's is wide open. Um, but you got the Thunder Buddies now that they're making a team. You get the Pint making their way over. But then you still have those guys who were there last year, the Wolf Pack. Sandlot has kind of rebranded. They've fallen not apart, but like split off from here to here. I know that some of them were already on Cream Team, so they're going to go up. They have to go up to D's. It's going to be definitely interesting this year. It's going to be different, I think.
I'd say the Narwhals too, right?
Yeah, I see. But my thing with the Narwhals is I don't know enough of them yet. Like I know that most of them some of them came from the Hawks. I don't know how many are coming over from the Hawks. That's another team. I think E's will be more interesting this year. There's gonna be a lot of good teams, good talent. The best part though, playing E's is like not the fact that there's smaller tournaments, whatever. It's when you get down to Florida and like you're just cheering against Florida because in E's you got like 50 teams from Florida, and
Oh
every
yeah,
other state is like you Florida.
yeah, because they could just throw them in the lowest. Like, hey, I live down the street. Let's put a team into this.
Yeah, yeah. We
You
played a
know,
team last year that they told us that they get paid if they win tournaments. I'm saying
for
going
for an E level team,
for an E level team, and they had
that's
like their own
crazy.
entrance music and stuff. They were D bags, and we watched them lose back to back games, and we were like, "Yeah, you ended up in the same spot as us."
Any predictions for D's? Now you guys are moving up there with 603.
I mean, Grizzlies is probably the favorite in D's New Hampshire. D's in Massachusetts is wide open. I mean, there's been a lot of movement down there. Be interesting to see what happens, but yeah, no, I think Grizzlies are the number 1 D team in the state of New Hampshire.
Any league
J Rose on that
predictions?
team this year.
Oh, J Rose on
Yep,
Grizzlies.
yep.
Who runs that team?
Aaron, I forget Aaron's last name. Dennis, I think Aaron Dennis.
Any predictions for any of the leagues? Merrimack League, Nashua leagues.
Merrimack's too early to tell. So the draft is the first week of April. Every team has 4 keepers, but I think there's been a lot of transition, so it's really too hard to tell. I've yet to be drafted by the same team in a year, so we'll see what happens to me this year. I was on Boomers last year. think Jay said he had no interest in ever keeping me again. I think that was his direct quote. He says he was good. Unfortunate. And then
Jay,
Nashville,
who? Which Jay? Uh,
Garima. Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
wow.
Shots.
Jay's usually a great guy.
Oh, great guy, great guy. But he came to me and said, he's like, "You're not your brother. I'm not gonna keep you. I don't know if you're gonna be back here. Yeah,
Wow,
so we'll see.
shots fired.
So we'll see. Nash was. I mean, what? Who won it again last year? Who won our division last year?
Kung Fury.
It's theirs to win, right?
I don't even know where my home is in that league yet, and I've been in that league for a very long time. Uh, we're trying to rebuild New Power. Obviously, we'll have to have a new name.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. I don't know where we go or where to go. So we'll have to see. So I can't really predict it. Like you said, I think Kung Fury would have to be the favorite for now.
I did hear ramblings that TP might make a team. Was that true? I think I heard that towards
Craig
the end
had
of the year.
said things like that. I don't know. We will have to see. I mean, I'd love to see the league get bigger. I'd love to see that league. I mean, that's my favorite league to play in. So we will have to see what happens there.
And then Sunday
Um,
Coed, you're taking over Sunday Coed. So
yeah,
how
yep.
many teams? How
So
many teams do you have?
so far 6. I kind of want to leave it at that. I don't think the Sunday Co-ed League has to be anything crazy. Okay,
Yeah, 6 to 8. It's probably where you want to
you
be
know,
at. If you find a seventh team, then just try to find an eighth team. But
and I think the competition level can be fine. Um, I think people had certain expectations for that league because it did grow at one point. COVID kind of hurt it, but I don't think a co-ed, a Sunday afternoon co-ed league has to be all that crazy. In
yeah.
my opinion, it should be like, hey, we're going down to have some fun,
Hmm.
and if we win, we win. That's great, but you know, not don't sacrifice some of the drama crap that happens. It just isn't necessary, and hopefully, as president, I can nip that.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to get one more thing before we get to blank versus blank. Have you finished Cobra Kai season 4?
I didn't even finish season 1.
Oh, you haven't seen Cobra Kai yet?
I'm sorry. It was funny and nostalgic at the beginning, and then I was like, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had.
It's not just Cobra Kai's fault. It's a Netflix issue. A lot of the stuff with Netflix I lose interest in really quickly. Um, but is it good? Is the new season good? Is it worth watching? Like maybe.
It was amazing. I thought every season I've watched of the show was amazing. What I loved about season 4 was they went from making you think they were doing some of the same things they've already done before, but
Mhm.
they were just leading you to believe that, and they didn't.
Interesting.
And I think the ending of the season was absolutely phenomenal. I honestly, if I could give it a grade, I give season 4 of Cobra Kai a solid A minus.
Mhm.
I'd love to give it a flat A, but there's certain things.
What
Ob-
on the Soprano scale? Where are we talking?
As Cobra Kai is compared to Sopranos.
This season compared to like the best seasons of Sopranos. Like
Well,
that's my rating number.
my favorite season of Sopranos is season 5.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's favorite. Yeah.
I mean season 4 of Cobra. The problem with Cobra Kai is the actual show lengths are not very long.
Yeah.
Like Sopranos, you're getting a solid hour. You don't get
Yeah.
that with Cobra Kai. So I would love to see the shows get a little bit longer, but the stories are very good. And bringing in those old characters to mix with these new characters has been great. And what I love about the show too is there's no true bad guy. Everybody's bad with a little bit of good.
Hmm.
Until we
Gray
kind of
area.
find out a little bit more about some other people. And if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it, but I highly recommend Cobra Kai season 4. Absolutely fantastic. I am so hyped up for season 5. I cannot wait. I know it's going to be a little bit of a wait, um, but that is what it is. So
I'll have to check it out. Netflix though has really burned me. Like the Queen, I'm still working my way through, but like every show I've watched on it, I lose interest in. I don't know if you saw that movie that came out recently. Look up about the comet.
no.
It's a metaphor for climate change, and it was 2 hours and 18 minutes, like far too long. Like they just don't know when to cut things down.
I mean, I like Netflix
Irishman
for
too is
the.
another one.
I do enjoy. I haven't seen The Irishman. I don't know if
Three
I've
hours long.
heard. Yeah, that's a long time for me. Even though I've seen Once Upon a Time in America, which was De Niro back in the day,
Yeah,
and
but that at least kept your attention. Like the Irishman is like, all right, this could have been an hour and a half.
yeah, just for the sake of making something long, I don't
Yep.
agree with that. Uh, What I do like about Netflix though is definitely the documentaries that they have on there. Those are great. Um, but you know me, like right now, the phase I am is like most movies I'm not interested in unless it's a horror movie,
Yeah.
or some nostalgia to it. It's hard. Hollywood's done that so much; they've conditioned us to not care about new ideas anymore.
Yeah.
If you've noticed that, like, what do I get hyped for? New Halloween movie. A couple months later, what am I hyped up for? Oh my God, there's a new Ghostbusters. What's the next movie I'm hyped for? Oh my God, there's a new Scream. But no one's getting hyped for any of these movies that aren't franchises anymore. And I feel like Marvel might have started that. It's like we should be wanting something new, but Hollywood doesn't really give it to us. And we're clamoring to these franchise movies. And then we get so hyped up when those come out, but we're not paying attention. At least I know I'm not to any other movies that are coming out.
I mean, honestly, to help you figure out what movies that might want to watch, or whatever. Well, if you have Twitter, Roberto Fuentes does a very good job of getting to every movie and telling you that this is a good genre movie or whatever. And he watches all those one-off. There's some movies that come up that are one-off that I never even heard of that are in theaters, and I find out through Roberto. So
Yeah, got to give more of an opportunity to some of that stuff. I mean, even if you look at like I'm addicted to Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai spawns off Karate Kid. Like,
I think the difference though is that we've moved for how we view things. So TV, right, was the number one source. I'm sitting next to my TV. There's the number one source to see things, and there was a lot of commercials, and you would see these movies get built up, and then you'd be like, okay, I gotta go see this. I don't see commercials anymore. I don't watch television unless it's a live football game. Everything else, I make sure I pay extra to get rid of ads. So I don't know unless I physically have to go looking for what's coming out. You know,
yeah, I
so
mean,
that could be the reason.
there's not TV shows on TV that I get into. I mean, I watch wrestling and sports, and then I'll follow. I'll watch movies or, like I said, Cobra Kai on Netflix. Like TV, like in live, regular TV shows are just. I feel it's a dying thing.
Definitely.
I couldn't tell you. Okay, there used to be a time. It's Thursday, right? I
Hmm.
could tell you the lineup on NBC, right? It was The Office, Parks and Rec. All right, maybe I'm blanking, but at the time,
I mean, that's two.
Community.
Yep.
What's the show with Tina Fey? 30 Rock.
30 Rock.
I knew what was on NBC I don't know what the hell's on any channel right now. It's Thursday. Thursday used to be all about comedy on NBC. I don't. What do they show on NBC anymore? I don't
Hmm.
know.
I will
Yeah.
say, speaking of old sitcoms, How I Met Your Mother had a spin-off that started on Hulu this week, and it's pretty funny for the first two episodes. It's called How I Met Your Father.
Yeah, I've heard
Dan
about
knows.
that. We got a comment from Scott Vicker, which, you know what, I never really got into the Marvel movies, but now I feel like everything has to be. It's all about the franchises. It's not about new ideas anymore, and it feels a little
But
unfortunate.
those are kind of new ideas, right? If you don't read the comic, I've never read a comic book in my life, so I've been able to enjoy these movies, not being spoiler alerted or any idea of what's going on, just by watching the movies. And then they go in a set order. So check them out, Disney Plus. Disney Plus has some good things.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know what I get hyped for, and I keep finding it's like, oh man, it's every time it's a franchise of a movie that I enjoyed. Give me another sequel. But all right, well, let's get into blank versus blank. First one, softball related. Two teams that retired. Which is a bigger loss to the softball community? Throw it to third. I'm not going to say their name as they say it, or
Yeah,
bad beat.
that's tough. I liked both teams. Dustin Merrill is a good guy, and Paco's the nicest man I've ever met in my entire life. I I would say they're both big losses for our community in their own right. Bad Beat was the premier B team in this area. Like when you were from a New Hampshire team and you want to see, do we have the stuff? Can we go up against? Bad Beat was that team. Like you randomly place at like an open or things like that and say, okay, you'd play them and go, well, we're not that good. We got to figure this out. Throw it to third, like really helped to boom the co-ed area, right? So in this area, especially in our area, which is not easy to do because it is a dying softball community. So I
You
think
think it's dying?
I think co-ed is dying around here. I don't see as many co-ed teams as when we first started in 2017. Like we were late to the game, and then you go look at Worlds. There's like less than 50 teams in each division, and the higher you go up, the even less and less amount, and there's less tournaments. Even when we ran a co-ed team, we had to find tournaments where we would have to run five men and women against teams that had three girls in the field because we just couldn't find anything else.
I was absolutely miserable playing co-ed tournaments. Absolutely miserable.
Hmm.
We do have a comment from McVicker here. If you guys had to pick one of the ML players to emulate your softball skill set, who you got?
Gary Sheffield.
Uh Mark McGuire. That's who but I don't hit like that anymore. I don't hit like to try to hit the home runs anymore. So because I always modeled my stance like McGuire, but that's not really what I do anymore.
I'm a
So
hitch, so like I
I
I
don't
hit
even
the bat
know.
like this. Not like when I played baseball, I was like this with the hitch. Now in softball, it's a little hitch. So I said Gary Sheffield. Look like
Ugh,
Gary, play like Gary.
that's very tough for me to say, Scott, because I used to be someone that was all about hitting home runs in softball, and now I'm that guy that just like I'm old and I want to be on base. I can't say Ichiro because I'm not a lefty, but I like to slap. You hit the right side, so I'd have to think about that a little bit more.
I
He
want to
also
turn him into Chuck Knobloch and move into second base.
wants to know on the field. I had rotator cuff surgery. I try to just play first base and catcher at this point, but I will play other positions in league. I wouldn't do that on a tournament team. I'd like to stay there, but man, I don't know. As a fielder, I guess at this point, again, stick with McGuire or I ain't, softball. You're just standing behind there, so I ain't gonna say Mike Piazza.
I would say I try to be like Andrew Jones, just the way I read the ball. I like to play right field at this point, just because of the way the ball comes off the bat from a righty. It does it like a little hook, and I've gotten really good at reading those hooks from a distance. I honestly couldn't have done that until I went to contact lenses. I could not do it with glasses. And second base, I want to become like Chuck Knobloch, just holding it down and getting on base, hacking the ball.
We did have some, and I want to apologize to everybody out there that for whatever reason, if you comment on my private page, my actual page, it does not. We don't get the comments while we're live on the air. You have to comment on the Let Freedom Ring page. But Corey Cairo had said Mike McCarthy is a bum. Don't disagree there. He's going Bills Packers. I'm assuming for the Super Bowl. He also said go Pack go, and shout out to the team I'm playing with this year. Watch out for the pint.
Hmm.
So
I think they're
uh,
gonna. I think they're gonna surprise some people. I know they have a history of winning a lot of those My Sports Social and things like that, and being a good crew. They get fired up, and when they get fired up, they play well. So it will be interesting to see how they do this year. Coming to the tournaments in the East.
yeah, I can't wait for spring. I'm dying for it. Um, who's more of a favorite? Because we did say Kung Fury was a favorite, but there's another team that got knocked out by Kung Fury, but they were pretty good all year. If New Power is gone on Tuesday, Thursdays, does Kung Fury become the favorite, or does the pub have a chance as well?
So I have some inside information. The pub will not be the pub. There has been a break off, and that break off might run some things. So it really depends if they actually sign up or what they do. But don't count out Cappy's team. That team gave us a run for our money.
It's true. They
So
did.
I
Uh,
think if they can get to 7 or 8 teams, great league, fun to play with. Everyone gives each other a hard time on the field, but no one's a donk to each other off
do
the
you,
field.
do you notice how the finals ends and there's no shit talking during it? It was like we've everybody in that league is pretty much. I mean, there is sometimes that some arguing that's happened, but like we played Kung Fury. I mean, two classy teams had to be one winner, and
Yeah,
it wasn't out for blood. It was like let's play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and that's what we did, and it was awesome.
yeah,
I hate losing, but at the same time, I wasn't. I couldn't hate on those guys.
same, same.
Uh, McVicker also wants to know Cody Rhodes showing up at the Rumble.
He actually
I,
addressed that last night.
Yeah, I think this is Cody loves being. Cody's gotten a little annoying over the last couple years, I think. This whole not having a contract. I mean, Cody, do you want to be part of WWE again? Like you left. You wanted to
No,
be out of
I
there. You
I
wanted to
think
have AEW.
I think what's happening is they're trying to find a way to get around the story of the fact that he's not allowed to challenge for the AEW title while he's an employee of AEW. So I do think that they lead with Hangman Page and Cody Rhodes at All Out next September, and there's gonna be this weird phase with Cody like pretending like he won't go heel, but he's gonna be a heel in AEW, but like pretend like the fans are cheering him, and that will go on and on and on to the point where Hangman Page says, "You're a piece of garbage." That's when they get to each other,
I,
and
I
that's the
think
only way they can get to it because that was the stupidest stipulation in all of wrestling I've ever heard.
I don't know why you start a company, but again, this is where I'm a huge Cody Rhodes fan. So you probably can see behind me with all my wrestling figure collection that I have, which puts a lot of collections to puts a lot of them down. But Cody, uh, he made it all about him. If you think about it, well, I'm going to be the guy that can never go for the title. I'm going to be the guy that gets to start the new title. And every time you beat me, it's going to be like it's the biggest deal ever. And I'm going to get on a knee and hand you the TNT title, Darby Allen. Like,
Uh, Darby
I'm
Allen
not
to me,
saying he's Jeff
I don't.
Jarrett, like, I own the
Yeah,
company and I got to be the champion all the time. But some of the stuff Cody does, it's all about him.
yeah, I guess. I mean, first off, I don't even know what anyone sees in Darby Allen. But
I love
Cody
Darby
Rhodes
Allen.
is trying to make it a big moment because Darby Allen is scrawnier than me. I could kick Darby Allen's ass, pretty guaranteed. And so, like, it's a big moment to hand it off. Like, hey, you deserve this. Um, the title thing, I don't know if that was his idea. He was at the point he's about to have kids. He's going on these TV shows. He's not going to be there all the time. So you're not going to put the belt on him anyways because you don't want him to carry it. But at some point, he has to carry the belt. He has to have the belt, right? At some
If
point.
is he the face of the company? I don't, it doesn't feel like it.
Is anyone the face of the company of AEW? I don't know who that is anymore. There's too many. There's too many storylines. There's too much. I don't know who the face of the company is.
Darby Allen, Hawk from Cobra Kai. Yeah, I could. That's pretty funny. Though Hawk is a champion. Well, I guess Darby Allen was a champion too. Oh, that's a spoiler. I apologize about
No, don't
that.
worry.
Bobby has not seen Cobra Kai yet.
I won't remember by the time I see it.
We'll have to have Scott McVicker on the show. I gotta send him a date because he'd be perfect to talk about that. Um, anyways, next I got Kurt Angle or Brock Lesnar.
As a person, UFC fighter, like as a wrestler,
Who would you rather? Who entertains you more?
if you had said if you asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have said Kurt Angle. Brock Lesnar for me now. Uh, I just Kurt Angle was great for many years, but he left so much earlier than he should have from WWE. Like he needed to, right? He needed to get the pills and all that stuff. Like he needed to go to TNA. He was done with WWE, but it was such a short window. And when he came back, it was sad. And Brock Lesnar has been entertaining me since he came back in 2011, where he F5'd John Cena, and it gets better every time. Like I know some people hate Brock Lesnar and he's the no-show champion, or whatever, but he is entertaining. And this new version of Brock Lesnar has got me more excited for Brock Lesnar.
I'm so happy that he's back. Very happy about it. Here's an interesting one I'm going to ask you. Uh, Nails. If anybody remembers Nails
Hmm.
or Papa Shango.
Oh, Papa Shango, easily.
And
Nail,
you can't just pick him because of who he is.
no,
Just
Papa
because he's
Shango
Charles
because
Wright.
no, Papa Shango was a more entertaining character, right? Him and the warrior things was awesome. Nails and Big Bossman was the only real cool thing. Like that guy was a piece of trash.
Well, he choked out Vince McMahon and
Yeah.
got fired. I
Like
think that
I will never forget, and I wasn't even old enough to remember this. It was later when I found out about it when the warrior had like the curse on him. He goes, "Rah!"
it scared the piss out of me. It
Yeah,
scared
it
the
was
absolute
great.
piss out of me.
I think they could have brought Papa Shango back at any point.
They
That would have been
both
entertaining.
scared me. When Nails beat the ever living crap out of the Big Boss Man, I was terrified.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified. So, I mean, obviously, these were pretty scary gimmicks at the time. Wish they kind of worked out. Obviously, Charles Wright becomes the Godfather, comma, like he has a great
Hall of
career.
Famer.
nails, chokes out Vince, and never really seen it. I guess he did some stuff in locally in New England. I've seen some videos there. Um, who is doing a better job as president in their first 2 years? Well, Biden's not quite at two yet. Would you say Donald
He's at
Trump
one now.
in their first year? Trump or Biden?
They were both pretty bad in their first year to begin with. I think it's not, and honestly, at their time, Trump's bad first year wasn't even his fault. It was just like the whole world was all messed up, right? The whole party, he didn't have a house blow, all that stuff was going on. Biden, inflation is getting out of control. He's a spending president, and it's just not figuring itself out. There's so much more going on outside of just COVID-19 that people aren't even paying attention to. Like gas prices are going to spike over the next 3 or 4 weeks because there's going to be an invasion from Russia into the Ukraine, which the Ukraine has the Caucasus and all this other stuff with gasoline prices are going to go out of control. So like it, they're two different times. 2016, at least there wasn't a pandemic, so I guess that could have been worse. But Biden hasn't been that much better. I mean, I will say it's been easier because he hasn't been on Twitter talking about it every day.
He's not in the headlines every single day.
Yes,
You know, that's been nice. Um,
but in all honesty, I think the worst part for Biden is that his vice president is failing him. At least Pence was mildly competent. It seems like Madam Vice President is not on the same page.
yeah, you don't hear much from her really. You
One
know,
of her major tasks was to deal with the border issue, and I don't think she's even been there down there yet. Like she's just, I don't know with her. I just don't know with the vice president.
we got to get younger. We got to get younger. I know we were talking about that earlier about politics, but we got to get younger. We cannot. It's and I don't. Why are we picking people to run the country that are at the end of their lives when we're the ones with decisions they make are going to be affecting our lives? Like,
Hmm.
and if I were Joe Biden, I wouldn't have given a shit to run for president. I would. It's same thing with Trump. I would have just been like off on an island somewhere.
I, I
These
think
guys have all the money in the world.
I think Biden ran though because as much as people don't want to hear it, Biden probably would have beaten Donald Trump in 2016. People
Likely.
voted against Hillary, not for Trump, when it came to certain states. So he might have won that election, and maybe that's what caused him to say, I got to take a shot at this.
I know he was going
I
through.
just
I
hope he
think
doesn't run again.
yeah, his son was dying. Dying
His
at the
son
time from
died.
I think he was dying at the time where he should have been running a brain
No, no,
cancer.
he died right before the elections, like the committing to the elections and things like that, right?
Yeah,
2015.
yeah, 2015. Well, I guess yeah, you would have to be. I don't know when they commit fully, but yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So
Donald Trump committed a full year before the election,
oh,
so
he was
before
all
the
about.
primary started. Yeah,
He was everywhere, just talking shit.
yep.
But AEW WWE right now.
I will say I watch WWE more often. I do like AEW, but AEW has what I will say is a good problem. I guess they have too many people and too many major storylines, and I can't keep up with it all.
It's not a
Um,
brand split in AEW. So it's not like you're just on SmackDown or Raw. So if you
and
don't make
again,
Dynamite, you're probably on something nobody's watching.
right, and again, here's my problem. CM Punk is back, and he's feuding with MJF, and they've made many mentions to WWE throughout their whole feud. But there's one thing that stuck out to me with CM Punk that I'm like, why are you even saying that? And it was like, why don't you go to the other side, see if the grass is greener, and headline the fourth night of a 4-day extravaganza at WWE? And I go, well, that's because WWE is smart and goes, I don't want to watch a 6-hour pay per view. And these AEW pay per views are from 8 to almost midnight. It's just long, and they might sometimes they even start at 7. It's like they're too long.
But they're
There's
not
too
busting
many
them out.
matches.
They're also not busting them out every month.
Agreed. They're every quarter, but when I had to sit there for that long, I'm like, can we get to the point? Like when I watched All Out, I won the main event. In the last hour leading up to it, I was like, God, just can we get to the freaking point? I don't want to see this one-off match. So all their payoffs happen on pay-per-view. It's just they might actually need more pay-per-views. If you're gonna have this many storylines and this much going on, have 2 pay-per-views a quarter. Because
Yeah,
now
I
we're
mean,
not gonna get the pay. We're probably gonna get the payoff of Pac
Wrestle,
and
I mean
Aleister
WrestleMania.
Black or whatever.
WrestleMania is the only one that's 2 nights. So I think New Japan's always done 2 nights for Wrestle Kingdom, so I think it's a great idea if that's your biggest event, make it the whole
Yeah.
weekend. So I think CM Punk is wrong on that. But I'm tired of the mentions back to WWE. It's like, guys, you're your own company. You're not really even competition.
No.
Okay, so just worry about AEW. You want to make a few jabs at WWE once in a while?
Right.
That's great, but if you're doing it on a consistent basis, it takes away when you actually do it or you
Yeah.
say something with any merit to it. Otherwise, people just don't care. It's just, but they've done that from the start. The symbolism of the sledgehammer at the first
Oh
pay
yeah, I
per
forgot about
view.
that.
So it's like it gets to a point. It's like, okay, you went rogue, Cody. This company it's all because Cody went rogue. I'm just kind of, I
Yeah,
love
and
it. I
for
love
me,
AEW, but
there's just no major there's no major payoff until March. That's the next pay per view. I
I,
know they do these one offs like major things on Dynamites. I don't want to watch that on Wednesday night. I want to be able to sit down and think about all day leading up to it, not working till almost 6 o'clock at night, flipping on Dynamite at 8 o'clock, and then have to go
another
to work next morning.
another thing they need like their WrestleMania. It's not all out. They need like their big. This is the biggest show of the year, and
Yeah.
we're laying it all. Like I love like even TNA was smart enough to that.
Yeah.
AEW hasn't done that yet. TNA it took them what 3 years to come up with Bound for Glory, and
Hmm.
it made it feel like it was the culmination of the year. Wherever that falls, AEW needs that pay per view. I want them to have that pay per view. I don't think
I mean,
they haven't
all
done
out,
that yet.
all out is that. That's supposed to be it.
Well,
That's when every.
that's a crappy name then for your Super Bowl of your wrestling company.
Yeah, I agree. Also Full Gear's a dumb name. It's a thing that they use from like that show the Young Bucks I don't even watch anymore does.
Being the elite.
Yeah, I think Double or Nothing too could pivot and be that um in May, but I've never been able to watch it because it's always on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, they gotta figure that out. I think they just need that one. This is our biggest show of the year, and this is where we go all out.
I wouldn't be.
Uh,
You just said it.
what
You just said all out.
we go all out.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They go all out for all out.
I don't know. I don't. I just don't love it. I don't love that name.
Yeah,
Would you rather keep Mac Jones or what people are saying? Try to get Deshaun Watson.
Mac Jones.
Good man.
No question. I don't want to deal
That's my
with.
quarterback.
That's my quarterback, but I don't want to deal with the Deshaun Watson stuff. Like, there's a reason
He
why he
hasn't
didn't
played
play
in the
all year.
goddamn year. What are people even talking about?
He's owed like 25, $30 million next year.
No, it's just stupid. We drafted Mac. We're riding with Mac. I don't
Hmm.
want to hear this crap anymore. Um, all right, final question. Blank versus blank, hardest one. Oh, hold on. We got Scott McVicker's shout out here. I'm a novice, and I feel like AEW lost its luster once the big WWE names came over. Danielson, Punk, Adam Cole, Rusev, Miro is his name. Um,
I
no,
agree. They backfilled the roster with people who just left WWE.
well, here's the thing. Miro Rusev was released. He needed that's a place to work. They took him. The other three you're talking about shows you that free agents aren't just signing with WWE. Brian Danielson could have stayed where he was. He decided, no, I have an opportunity to go somewhere. Adam Cole, I would say, was probably the hottest free agent, hotter than Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan's already hit his peak, right? I don't think Daniel Bryan's now at the he could still be AEW champion, but he's on the decline. Adam Cole's stock is rising, even though I haven't loved what he's done in
I
AEW
will
so
say
far.
Adam Cole's stock. Adam Cole was rising, and AEW has flatlined to below developed it.
I mean, now
I don't think AEW knows what the hell they want to do with a lot of this stuff, and then they stretch it out too long.
yeah, I think I thought Adam Cole was like the big signing because that was a guy that was he was in NXT. I don't know if WWE knew what to do with him, but
He's
when
also a lot of muscle. Have you noticed that? He
yeah,
looks smaller.
I don't know what he's doing. Now he's feuding with I love Orange Cassidy, love him. But that's what Adam Cole's doing.
Stupid.
That's
They
now
should
he's
be
teaming up with
building
his
up.
girlfriend.
Yep. So he's basically Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, but they should be building to a standoff with Adam Cole and his buddies, and the Young Bucks and their buddies, and that should happen at Double or Nothing.
They got to do something. I mean, honestly, yeah, a lot of it's not been interesting. I haven't even really enjoyed much that Daniel Bryan's. Yeah, I have like some, like I love the heel turn he did, but I
The
have
matches are
not.
nice, but
I haven't watched either in their entirety. I guess I'm at an age where it's like I'm not sitting through an hour long match. You don't need a match to go an hour to sell me on it.
right,
You know, I was never a big fan of the Iron Man match with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. I thought it was too long. I remember take like 3 piss breaks as a kid during that match.
yeah.
So I don't think it degrades AEW, but they are signing a lot of people. Uh, but the fact of the matter is, wrestlers are independent contractors, Scott. So them just because they work for WWE, they represent themselves. They don't represent WWE. So I don't look at it as
Well, they represent the employer that they work for,
they do, but they're not working for them
regardless of where they
anymore.
are. I know,
They're
but
they're
at
independent
AEW, they
contractors.
still, yeah, as independent contractors, you still have to represent the employer you work for.
I mean, I get it. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, they had careers before WWE, but WWE made them big stars. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But let me ask something. If does is Tampa Bay something you don't want to, does that feel lower than any other football team because Tom Brady played most of his time with the Patriots?
Yes, it's a smaller
See, I don't,
market.
I mean,
I think I think if you go to play, winning in Tampa Bay is cool. It's not as impressive as winning in the big markets. Like, there's not as much pressure in Tampa Bay. No one cares if Tampa Bay loses.
I'm just saying, like when free agents sign with other teams,
They try to
okay,
sign with places that are
they're
relevant.
they're still in the big leagues, and I do think AEW with the money they have, that is the big leagues. I just don't think it makes them. I don't think it hurts them at all.
No,
I
I don't
think
think so either.
I think
But I'm saying if
you
you're going to compare it to football,
yeah,
if Tom Brady went and won a title in New York, that's massive. You have to win regardless. Because if Tom Brady
but they
goes
don't.
anywhere, it well, he's not there. I'm saying that if he did, if Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay and like they are above 500 and they make the playoffs but lose, no one in Tampa Bay cares. No one cares. If they win the Super Bowl, they celebrate. If they don't win the Super Bowl, they don't care in Tampa Bay about
Yeah,
any sport.
I also look at it as like wrestlers should be able to go wherever they want to go too. And I don't know. I don't think it really has any impact on how I look at AEW. I think AEW signed a lot of people that they don't actually need.
Yeah, agreed.
There's a lot of people on that roster where you go, there maybe there was a reason that they're never got to WWE.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I mean, sure, you got a good show on Dark, and Dark's a good show on YouTube if you want to pay attention to that. I
Agreed.
skim it. I see the people I want to see, but for the majority of Dark, I don't have any interest in really watching it.
Me either.
Um, Scott, I do like Luchasaurus. He's in the background
Got you
here.
that action figure.
Yeah, he's in the back with Jungle Boy. Yeah, I like Luchasaurus. I'm not talking. Luchasaurus did wrestle in NXT at one point, not a full time or anything like that. But yeah, no, I think there is a lot. The people that have the championship belts right now are people that were there from the start. Britt Baker, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy. Hangman Page is the world champion. I mean, Jade Cargill is homegrown talent. She was a fitness model that they trained themselves, I believe, at the Nightmare School. She's the TBS champion.
Hmm.
TNT champion is Sammy Gravana
Well,
and
Cody Rhodes.
Cody. And so
That
it's a
they're gonna
lot.
have what? They're gonna have a ladder match at the next pay per view or something. What
Yeah,
are they doing?
I don't know, but to be quite frank, all their champions are people that were with the company when the company started.
Yeah,
So that's got to tell you something.
I will say though, is Hangman Page a failure as a champion?
He hasn't.
I don't think he's the draw that they think he is. Not yet, at least.
I don't know who else they could have put it on.
Uh, it's true. I mean, they didn't have to take it off
They had to.
Omega.
No, they did. He was hurt. He had to go
Oh,
away. I think he'd been waiting for when he was gonna, because
I,
obviously Hangman was the next guy, and he had his child, and they had to wait a little bit. I don't know who else you put that title on.
mm,
I don't think Hangman. He just got to be out there more, and I think the match he's gonna have with Murder Hawk, um, that will help because he's gonna beat a big guy.
yep.
build him up with some wins here. You can't, cool. He wrestled Daniel Bryan. I thought that was too fast,
Yeah.
but maybe Daniel Bryan doesn't plan to be there all that long. He's like, I gotta get these matches in now. I don't know. I would have waited a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had that being his first title defense.
No,
That's
me
just
either.
me. Um, so, but final one in blank versus blank. My rival. We talked about him beginning of the show. Soapy pre-op.
Yep.
And I still can't believe that he edited this picture, tried to cancel my show. Um, or Dan Morse, the
Ooh,
two of the Morse Code podcast.
that is a tough one. Soapy's entertaining. So is Dan. Dan's got better
Soapy's like
take.
the Soapy's the comedy guy of the show.
Yeah, he is.
Dan's
So
like the
it,
straight man.
yeah, so I guess in comparison to the what's that show that Mike and Nietzsche run?
Silver Boner,
The Silver
Silver
Bow
La-
Experience.
Silver
I would
Silver Bo.
guess I would
Yeah.
guess I would go with Dan Morris because he's more like Mike on their podcast, you know.
Well, you know how I feel about Soapy, so I'm not even going to address that. And he's a coward, anyways, so I'm not
Terry made
too
his
concerned.
Terry made
What's
his
up,
showing up
Terry?
here.
Morris comes when it comes to changing light bulbs. I'm sure that's an inside joke with that Scott has.
I totally
Um,
get it. I have no idea.
I'm sure there's a story to it. Scott, we'll have to connect and get you on the show. But Bobby, I really appreciate you coming on. Been a blast.
Yeah,
We're planning to be back in the studio next week. COVID obviously affects everything, so it's one of those things. I'm glad that we were able to stream, so I don't have to just rip up everything when these things happen.
true.
Oh, because he's tall. Okay. But anyways, everybody out there, keep your heads up. Again, if you're asked to wear a mask, don't be a jerk about it. Just do it. And we're
Wear a
going to get through
mask.
this pandemic. We're almost through it. I really do believe that. So
Yeah.
until next time, let freedom ring.